Hello! Welcome everyone. My name is Tiffany. I'm the Tipsy Artist. Okay, we are going to be painting a bottle opener. It doesn't look like that now, but I promise it will be. So, I have a honey bear. Can you help me, please? Okay, well here in a minute, can you grab me a bottle opener from my...
What do you need, huh?
A bottle opener. It's over there on the shelf. And I love you. I forgot to get it. Bottom shelf. That bottom shelf. Keep going that way. Warmer, warmer, warmer. Hot, hot. Bottom.
There's no bottle openers down here.
Yeah, they're like a little plastic in the crate. Look at the crate. Look at the pieces of wood. There's a white crate down there on the bottom shelf. I'm gonna start over. Should have just stopped. I can't see. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Tiffany. I'm the Tipsy Artist. Welcome back. We're so glad you're here. Today we are doing a bottle opener. So where is it now? Okay, so this is going to be the hardware that comes with the kit here. So this guy right here. And then we use a piece of wood. Oops, wrong direction. Piece of wood, just like that. And I use a little trick. So this is a handy cheat, but in the kit I send you some graphite paper and then the line art. I give you a variety of different things to choose from. But this is fun. Like some of the Adirondack chairs have like a little margarita glass, so you can kind of do whatever your choice of beverage is there. So and some of them have not a drink at all, but just like a lovely hat hanging on the back of the chair. So there's lots of little fun options there. But basically there's a line that you can use that will just be here to help you cut it. It's exactly the same shape as our piece of wood here. And then of course we have this graphite paper. I start by doing a little tape up here at the top, basically just securing tape. I'll tape my graphite paper down first, then I'll wrap it around about 3 times, secure it here, then I will tape this strip here just at the top and secure that to the piece of wood. Then I'll just lay it flat and I will take a pencil just like this, and everywhere that I see a line, I'll go ahead and trace around that. I do encourage you to go ahead and do a little bit of a light sketch to mark out the negative space, the black space in there, just so that your eye doesn't play tricks on you. You don't forget the inside from the outside, because sometimes that can play tricks on you. So I think beginners, it will help you out a lot if you'll go ahead and kind of sketch into that black area. That way you know that it's going to be blackened on your surface area here. So that's just a helpful hint for y'all. So, and I'll give you, I did not do that. Do as I say, not as I do. But basically you can see how it could maybe become a bit confusing there. Let me turn that light just a little bit. So in order to avoid any confusion, if you'll just go ahead and color that in a little bit, I think that'll be very helpful for you. So this gives you an idea of what it looks like. So you can see how easy that is. And if you feel like you can navigate this pretty well just as is and just do that, save yourself a little bit of sketch time, but that's basically how it looks at that point. So whenever you're done, then we will go ahead and lift this off. And then we're done with this. We can just go ahead and throw this in the trash, but keep this. All right, so I'm gonna take that there for right now. And then we're gonna shift cameras and start to work on the painting. It's a lot easier rather than me just holding it like this for a long time. But I'm gonna go ahead and shift gears and shift cameras. And then whenever you're done, then you can go ahead and just take a screwdriver and just position that in, and we've got the hardware that comes with this, and you just basically just apply a little bit of firm pressure and screw this into the wood. And then this becomes, whoops, let me turn it this way. That's better. That might not very functional the other way. So basically it'll just fit right there, and then that'll be a really handy little fun bottle opener for you. Very decorative, very fun. So I wanted to make sure and show you that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and place the wood flat. Let's go ahead and shift cameras over here and let's do USB. Okay, here we go. All right, so aerial view here. Let's look at our tools. So we have our paint, lovely paint here. Mine's a little bit used. You will get a brand new thing of paint. Thing of paint, how's that sound? I was looking for a better word, but that's as good as it's going to get today. Plates, napkins, make sure you get some water nearby. These are the tools that come with your kit here. So we have, this is my little family of brushes. Let's talk about this. We've got Mama, and then we have Little Buddy, and then Little Bit, and then of course this is your pencil used to trace. And then we can go ahead and, this is a permanent marker as well. I think this can be very handy. So to help you mark out the black areas too, so that you keep your trace, you don't lose it as you start to apply some paint here. All right, so it helps you be a little bit more loose and sloppy if you want to be through the process. And I'm gonna get my little glasses on here, so that'll help me see a lot better. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna start up here with these little palm trees. And start to color this in. That way you will absolutely not lose this. Darken all that in. Move this over just a little bit. Turn this. And feel free to keep turning the wood too to give you the best angle to do your drawing. That makes a big difference. The comfort of your hand and arm, and make sure that your own body isn't in the way. Kind of make thin little wispies as you pull out there. Kind of go in the direction of the tree growth there. That'll help you from having any blunt, thick edges on the ends of those palm trees. So I'm going in the same direction as growth. Taking it the other way. Beautiful. All right, so that's in place. Some of you may get done with the Sharpie and just go, I'm done. Because it looks so cool, just like that. Pretty fun. What a handy little cheat that is. You know what? This is actually white in my model. That's funny. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Looks kind of cool black here too. This way you won't lose it, that's for sure. Let's smooth out that little circle, give it a nice soft curve. There we go. Alright, we have a little trick with paint to help us do perfect circles too. I'll teach you that. Now I had a little bit of a, that's either an imperfection with the wood. I think that's just a imperfection with the wood, yeah. So sometimes that happens. We had that little knot up there. It looks like part of the trace, but it's not. It's part of the wood. Do an outline on these. All right, little waves, very cute. And then we'll work in our little wine glass. And then our Adirondack chair. Actually gonna keep an eye. See, on the chair, even I was getting a little like, what's the dark, what's the light? So if I'm getting a little bit of a hesitation on that, I think you probably would too. So let's strongly recommend going ahead and blacking that out when you have the opportunity, when the line art, excuse me, is still on there. We had really thin lines there, almost non-existent. Probably just omit those. They're so tiny that it won't even really show. Those were the main ones in there. Oh. All right. Okay, camera is frozen. There we go. Get caught up, guy. It's a little windy. Ooh. Pardon me. Let's move that. Make sure we can really see what we're doing here. All right. Okay. Beautiful. So you can see how some of you may just really dig this all on its own, just like that. That's awesome. But we are most definitely going to add some color. So I'm going to come over here with my paint plate here, my mixing plate. Reposition just a tad. And then there are all kinds of options on the sky here. And we're going to do a lavender sky, mainly because it has contrast from this beautiful turquoise that we have going on with the ocean. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a line, a horizon line. So this paint kit of yours can also be a handy ruler, or you can use a ruler at your house too. So I'm going to go ahead and do my horizon line right about there. And make sure that it's straight. I'll line it up on the bottom here. How about that? I need to scoot it down right there. Good. All right, now let's get into that beautiful lavender. So with all of your paint, when you go to open it, I'm going to start with some violet here. You're all going to have little silver tabs up here at the top, so a bit of foil, you'll have to lift that off. I'm going to go ahead and start with a little dollop of the violet. It's a nice full pea size amount, about a dime size amount there. And then we need some titanium white. Pea size amount there. Bless you, Miss Ira. That's my little puppy dog over there. A little sneeze. It's very windy out here today. We're in Guthrie, Oklahoma. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Mama brush to start with. And start to press on that violet. You can see how pretty and bright that is. Let's go ahead and add a touch of white to it. Just gradually start to push those in together. I really didn't need that much violet. It depends on how dark you want to make this. So we can start to spread this out here. Let's add a little bit of water when we get a little bit closer to our trees. Because see, I want to make sure that the paint's not so thick that it covers those up. I still want to see those peeking through, and great, they do. And as we start to spread this paint in on the surface area, I'm going to start to crisscross the motion of the brush and hold it a little bit more over to the side. That will give us a lighter hand that also allows a lot more paint to just kind of rest right on the surface area there. And now I need to make a little curl, so like a little turn. So I'm holding the brush more like a pencil. See, it's very thin still on the edge. So I can take that around that circle. And we're going to be able to come back in over that circle. So even if I have a little bit of an overpaint there, that is not a big deal because we're going to come back in and touch that up. Need more white. Let's see. Grab from a bigger amount right here on the side. I'll go through a lot. So, all right, here we go. Go ahead and be a little bit tidy around that edge. Again, just a little bit of water that will help thin it out a little bit. And I'll still be able to see. And adding a little bit of water, make it a little bit more like a watercolor, a little bit more transparent. So I do have a little bit of a sloppy overpaint, but you can see how it is bleeding right through. So I have a little bit of water with my paint. I'm going to crisscross those strokes back and forth. And then I will come back and revisit those palm trees here in a little bit once this all sets up and dries. Again, little crisscross strokes. Kind of feels like you make the letter X over and over again. Tilt this up so I can see it a little bit. All right. Okay. Very pretty. All right, let's go ahead and rinse out. Round, round, around, firm pressure that will help release the paint from that brush. Let's go ahead and wipe down over here to the side. All right, now let's go ahead and make some turquoise. All right, so we've got our primary cyan blue. A dime-sized dollop of that. Let's use some Viridian next. And then we're going to come back in with our white. So I'm going to add a dollop of that over here. Let's go ahead and use our little buddy for this next color in here. I've got my dollop of white, dollop of that Viridian. Push those two together. That's quite lovely. That would be really pretty. A little touch of blue. Makes that really pretty turquoise. All right, so now we're going to go into that shape. Now, when it gets to that really tiny ending, I'm going to have to come back in with my little bit brush. A little bit of blue, a little bit of Viridian, a little bit of white. Holding the brush just like I would hold a pencil, facing downward, and then just working on those lines. Now I'm going to shift the brush over to the side. Parallel to the canvas here. With a piece of wood, rather, sorry about that. I'm so used to working on canvas, but this is a piece of wood today. Now I'm going to be careful around the wine glass. I'm going to go ahead and be a little bit more thoughtful about trying to be neat and tidy in there. But when I can do an overpaint, I try to optimize those opportunities. It just makes it easier for beginners to go ahead and just be a little more free and relaxed. So I'll preserve that line, and then I'm going to have to come into the center of the wine glass too, so that you have that impression of the water coming through the vision of the wine glass in the background. I'm trying to do as much of this as possible with my little buddy brush. I'm going to have to switch gears pretty quickly over to the little bit brush. So we'll do that here in a second. a little bit of this happening in here. All right, let's rinse out. Using a little bit next. See what we're doing. Still has some paint in there. Round, around, around. Firm pressure that will help release the paint from the brush. Dry off. Move them out to the side. All right, now we have our little bit brush. I'm going to go ahead and do a little twist here into the paint. This loads it up, but it also twists it into a nice fine point. So we're going to go ahead and do a little ball here, and then curve that around. Spin it for a little circle. Around. Grab a little bit more white. And we're going to flow back into the space here. A little bit of water. Kind of softly blend this in now. Make it a bit more fluid over the top. Alright, so we have teeny tiny little spots to get into, so I'm going to go ahead and work this into these little areas here. Oops, I almost put it in my wine. That would not be right. And if you have a little bit of an overpaint over the black, I do a little bit, no worries, we can tighten that up a little bit later. When this dries, we'll use our permanent marker one more time, or a little bit of paint, a little bit of black paint over the top. We'll also make that very tidy. Alright, so that's looking really good. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go ahead and rinse out. And I'm going to come back in with a little bit more detail now with some white. Puppy dog again. Little curls in here. A little bit of water. Come up on the other side of it and just do a little soft blend into it. Just water now. Flow into that. Let's go ahead and dry off. All right, so now we're going to go ahead, and there's something interesting you can do here. This is supposed to be a little bit of sand here at the base. Creative option is to let the wood be the color of the sand. It's really a pretty lovely color. Or you can go ahead and start to paint into that. Some of you may just look at that and go, that looks so much like sand, I think I'll just leave it as is. And I'm kind of wondering if I want to do that myself, because I just kind of love it almost just the way it is. So you know what, I think I'm going to do that actually. All right, now let's make some wine color. Okay, so let's do some Cadmium Red. A little dollop of that. We're going to cool it off a little bit with some primary magenta. Let's mix those two together. I'm using my little bit brush. Get a lovely red wine. And I really like for mine to be a cool red. Thinking more about what colors would be prettier here in the painting instead of trying to be so authentically burgundy with it. Alright, so I really like that. Let's go and rinse out. Alright, so I want a white moon here. I know I reinforced that with the black, but that's going to be really easy to cover up here. I'm going to take my Mama. Let's get another big dollop of white, titanium white from our kit here. Alright, so I'm going to push back and forth here with my Mama brush. I'm going to load it up with the white paint. And then I'm going to go ahead and hold the brush like a pencil and then push and twist. So apply that firm pressure will make the bristles kind of fan out, and so you can do a half circle to either side. So start in the center and then half circle to either side. And then we can feather it out in the middle. Got some paint here on the flat side. Let's go ahead and load up a little bit more, heavier coat. And then let's go ahead and very gently lay this on over the top. Gentle hand, brush is parallel to the canvas. Very pretty. Scrape off the excess there. Alright, so here it is dry, which is a beautiful thing. Dries very quickly. We used a thin coat. And then where is my Sharpie? There. You are. Okay, so what we can do is we can go ahead and fill back in. I do want to be very careful about my moon here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this back in. And this will make those palm trees pop right back over the top. Remember to start from the inside here and kind of go out with tiny little strokes. Make that move in the same direction as the tree grows so we can keep those little tiny wispies. So you can also, once you get done with the Sharpie, you can also come back over this with a little bit of paint too, just to give it a little bit more texture. Right hand, go off the edge there. Just filling this in again. Careful of that moon. See how beautiful that is again, now that it pops out over the top. And then I think this is drying here too, so I'm going to firm back up these little lines. We had a little bit of blue over paint. Tidy up that one there. I have a wee bit of correction. I was like, oh, I'm going to leave this as sand. But now I'm discovering I put a little blue there, so now I have to do a little bit of tidying up. I'm going to come back in a little bit of my, see I've got white, so let's come in with some cadmium yellow. Dime sized dollop of that. A little bit of titanium white with cadmium yellow. My little dip brush. So we're going to just very carefully come in here. I barely touch that up. And then I'll correct the black in here too with my Sharpie just as soon as that dries, and it will dry very quickly. It's just a little tiny area. Go ahead. This color is so very close. You can see it's almost a nice, perfect painted match there to the wood. So again, this is not that necessary, but again, this is my cadmium yellow and the white. Or water, I mean. Looking good. And you can be a little bit sloppy in here. It'll be easier to cut back in with the permanent marker here in a minute. Just making sure we get the coverage. And then you do have to make sure that this is all dry before we come back in and do our corrections. So. Give that a little bit more time to set up and dry. I'm going to do a few little touch-ups here on the moon. A little bit brush. Lightly place it in on the side. Do some accents in our ocean here. Taking a little bit and then working in just a little bit more of the Viridian. I'm going to pull these lines down a little bit through the design here. This is our Viridian and our white. Now I'm coming back in and cleaning up that Sharpie. turn this just a little bit. Actually, I'll go this way. Ooh, my cowboy hat keeps hitting that camera. Okay, that's looking really fun, and certainly getting to a place where we could actually just say, yeah, I think it's done. Or you could continue to add a little bit more white detail up in here. I'm going to come back into my ocean waves a little bit. Do a little push and a spin. A little bit of water there to do a soft fade. I'm grabbing a little bit more of the cobalt blue, or rather, this is primary cyan blue, sorry about that. Primary cyan blue. I'm going to add just some decorative little dots. I'm going to use my handle here. Use a little ball there at the end. Get some more titanium white, fresh. Just push right down into it, and then we'll dot it out. Now this is optional, but if you like it, you can do a little bit of this. It's a nice way to add a fun pattern. If you don't quite get as big of a dot, you can do another impression just like that. That's fine there too, and I'm going to do another little round of dots here. Just a little fun detail. All right. So I think we are done. I'm going to call it done on this. Just very fun, simple summery project or beach house project. And then whenever this does set up and dry, we're going to have to give this more dry time here. But again, this is our hardware. And so it has the little screws that come with it. So you can place this right in through here. And then you just need a Phillips screwdriver to just screw those into the wood. The wood is soft and it'll take it very easily. And then that will just be in position there. And then you'll be able to open your fun little bottles with that too. And of course, another little thing you can do too, you can sign your masterpiece down here, or initials might be great since this is a really small area. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some really small initials for Tipsy Artist. Like that. Oh, happy face. Okay. All right. Well, we are finished with this project, and everything you need for this is on our website, tipsyartist.com. We'd love to paint with y'all, and let us know if you have any questions or beautiful comments down below, and we look forward to seeing y'all soon. Have a wonderful day. Toodles.